Hi everyone, Hannah here, and I'm going to follow suit and post my HTML CSS assignment for this Descrit session, as I've seen some of my other classmates have done. I had very little experience using HTML and CSS, although I had seen it before and have used it before. jQuery was a whole nother story. It was extremely foreign to me, and that was definitely a part of the assignment that I struggled with as I went through the steps to create my website. However, I also think that the method I chose to use to create the site kind of made it a little bit more difficult for me, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as I go through this video. So I guess I'll start by showing you my finished product. This is my website. At the time that I was doing this technology module, the Pittsburgh Penguins were on their playoff run to the Stanley Cup championship game, so I decided to theme my web page around their Stanley Cup success, I guess. So you can see at the top I have 3 tabs, home, schedule, and past wins. And these are not only tabs for new pages, but they actually refer to other spots on the same web page. So for example, if you click schedule, it scrolls down to a carousel element that has the different series and the results of each series. If you click on past wins, same thing, scrolls down to the past wins section where you see the jQuery accordion element that was required in the assignment, and each year that the Penguins won the Stanley Cup and who they played against. So if I go back up to the Home tab, I have my page title. If you scroll down a little bit, I wrote a short purpose for the web page, as I explained at the beginning of the video. The photo eventually became my draggable object, also part of the required assignment. And then the other 2 pages line up as I showed you earlier. How I decided to put this together is I used a free online template that already had the source for HTML and CSS and all of the other working elements in the web page to start out with. Then I went into Dreamweaver, uploaded those files, and proceeded to make adjustments for how I wanted the page to look. So I changed the colors, the size and type of the font and text, and obviously the information that I put in the page and how that information was laid out. And that is what ultimately I think was a little bit of a struggle when I started playing around with the jQuery elements. As far as what was already set up in the page, everything worked great, and then when I started messing around with that part of the assignment, it became a little bit more difficult for me. It took quite a few tries and overviewing my written code multiple times to kind of find where my mistakes were and get my jQuery elements to work properly. But I eventually got there, and therefore you saw the photo was my clickable and draggable object, and the past wins section was where the accordion menu was placed. So there you have my HTML, CSS, jQuery assignment. Just because I kind of struggled with some elements in the end, I'm happy with how it turned out, and I'm glad that I worked through those difficulties. I don't see myself having a future in web design. However, I do like tinkering around with the basics, and I do teach a very basic, very short unit on HTML and CSS to my 8th grade students, which is why I was comfortable with that, but not necessarily the other elements of the assignment. So I'm interested to hear any feedback you have on this and willing to take any suggestions on how I might improve this site or my programming skills in the future. Thanks.